You're listening to the official UWL podcast. Enjoy the show.
Hello?
Yes. And that's how we start the show tonight.
I fucking love it.
Brilliant.
I felt it was appropriate, at least.
Yeah, most definitely.
Now,
At least I got it in before.
there you go. Now, if Jay was here, it may not have happened. But,
No.
you know. But we keep it classy when the boss isn't around. Or at least that's
Goddamn.
So, anyways, welcome to our second edition of the UWL radio show. I guess we're doing it on Skype from now on. For those that haven't joined us, we're not gonna really be announcing this after the next couple of weeks, but we're gonna do it anyways. Unless you are in like a pretty decent environment, make sure, I guess you probably want to use that mute button on your microphone pretty frequently. It helps with the sound quality, all that good stuff. Generally, we haven't had a problem. Last week, Alan, I think you'd agree, it sounded pretty good. We didn't have to worry about it. And this week, I don't think we're going to have to worry about it too much again. Now, for everyone who was wondering, the question was, when are we going to get these posted? The reality is that now that I've actually got an idea as to how we're going to do this, I can start posting them this week. I just got to get together with Jay to get it going, and all that good stuff. So, how's everybody doing tonight?
Wonderful.
Fantastical.
That was the single best thing you could say after fantastical. Good stuff. Well, cool. So tonight it looks like who we got? We got Alan, we got JB, we got Kyle, we got Trent, and we got the man. We got Double J. That's a pretty good panel for us this evening.
I agree.
Yeah. Panel, because it rhymes with anal.
Yeah, right. Yeah. See?
Yeah, catching on. Yeah. Classy.
Teachable.
Classy.
The more you know, children, the more you know.
Oh, somebody needs to cue up that sound right now.
I'll get it next time, I promise. So, we got a lot to talk about. If this is your first time, and JB, you're going to notice right off the bat we do it a little bit differently on here than we did on the Blog Talk. It's way more free-flowing. We do not really have a plan. We just kind of go.
Boom.
But then again, every time JB calls on, it tends to be that exact thing. So if anything, dude, this is your forum.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
So, I'll tell you what. Last time we opened it up with card discussion. I don't want to do that this time. This time I want to open it up with some open discussion. Anybody got any topics? Anybody that they want to get out there, get some opinions on?
I actually do have a topic tonight.
Do it. Bring it.
There's something to say about a lot of people talking about how they're, I don't want to say scared, but it is the right word, scared to share e-fetting with like their friends and family. I just actually shared it with my family at dinner today. I was told them I might be on the podcast, and they were supportive.
Really?
And actually, I talked to them about it yesterday about, writing and stuff, and they were like, that's really cool. They were really supportive. My mom, my sister, and my brother-in-law. They were like, yeah, keep it up. And they were talking, encouraging me, and they were going to watch the movie tonight. but like only my mom has interest in watching it. Nobody else wants to watch it. And I said, I gotta go. I might actually go on the podcast unless you really want me to watch this movie. And everybody was like, no, go ahead and get up on it. No, you should do it. You should get on that podcast. They said, you should go. I was like, yeah, all right, cool.
Wow. What an awesome response. We talk about this all the time as like everybody's dirty little secret. And essentially the only ones who know about it are those absolutely closest to us. So that's the question. Let's open up with that. For the people in your lives, how many people know that you fed, and what was their reaction to it?
Well, my wife asked me what I did, and I told her. And I got the strangest look from her. And for the first time ever, she goes, "You are such a geek." And she walked away. She didn't ask any questions. She was just like, "I don't want to know. Do whatever you want to do. Don't care. I don't want to talk about it." I was like, whatever. Kept on typing. And that was that.
I think I've told one person, that was my brother, well, by marriage. He's the youngest of my dad's wife's sons, because at the time anyway, I trusted him a lot, and I was trying to get him slowly but surely kind of integrated into the judo, because he's always liked wrestling, but he's wanted to learn the inside and out, the kind of stuff that we as smarks pay attention to. And e-fetting is one of those things that kind of helps you pick up on this kind of stuff, the bookings, the angles, why people face turn when they do, or why people heel turn. But though I tried to get him interested, I couldn't quite get him to make that jump into the UWL. So it stays with just him as the only guy that actually knows what the hell this geeky, nerdy little game is that we all do.
Yeah, it's funny. Outside of my wife, I don't think there's anybody that knows that I do this stuff. And even her first reaction was definitely it wasn't negative, but it was, ironically, we were sitting there talking about how much of a nerd she is about certain things, and I proceed to whip out, oh yeah, and I pretend I write as if I'm a real wrestler in a fake wrestling in the internet, blah, 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 blah. I have never felt such shame in my life as when I told my wife that. And then she tried it and completely understood, so she could suck it.
It's like you kind of have to tell your wife. I mean, husbands and wives can't really keep secrets from each other. You got to come out of the closet with all those little secrets and just say, hey, this is what I do. It's cool. Yeah, I know it makes me sound like a dork, but it is what it is.
Oh, trust me, we can keep secrets. We just shouldn't.
I was going to say, like, we can't keep secrets? Holy shit.
Well, yeah, of course. You can, but it's not very advisable for the long-term health of a marriage.
JB,
if they never find out it is.
There you go. Hey, Alan, to go with that, dude, it took me 6 years to tell my wife that I did this. 6 years. Well, you want to know why I was, quote-unquote, retired for 7 years? It's because I was in a relationship for almost all 7 of those years.
Wow.
But that's just how it goes.
You see, I guess I must have no shame because I've told several people about it, and especially my cousin, who I wish I could get into this, but I don't think it'd work with his work schedule. Me and him, we talk wrestling together all the time. He's been watching since probably mid-late 80s. So, and he's done some writing. He even filmed his own bad Italian B movie with his friends. So between me and him, he understood what the whole thing was around it. And I've tried to get another friend into e-fetting too, but and maybe one day he will. But he does follow wrestling some, but his whole internet situation currently doesn't even make it possible, so.
We actually succeeded on that, Kyle, when we got Dr. Sawbones into UWL.
I wasn't talking about Dr. Sawbones, but you do know him.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Sawbones had a glorious 2-week run. Although, to be fair, seriously, I loved that character. I thought it was fantastic. It's a shame he didn't go further with it. But it is what it is.
Yes, it is.
So that actually, let's go on with that though. Why do you think that of all the things that are nerdy in this world, and let's face it, you can essentially nerd out about just about everything. Why do you think?
I know I can.
Yeah, sure. Why do you think it is that we are suddenly able to? Or what is it about this that we feel like we need to hide? Is it because it's wrestling? Is it because it's role playing? Is it a combination? Because I feel as if this is one of those things where if anything, this would make it should be less nerdy, but I almost feel like we consider it to be more so.
Well, I personally think it's because of wrestling itself, because a lot of people will give you a lot of shit about it, but at the same time, it's really no different than people role playing on Facebook or their own character, or even sitting around playing D&D. I mean, it's really no different. It's just a different outlet, really.
Okay.
If you think about it, man, I'm sorry. It's a stigma. Okay.
It is a stigma.
Yeah, who knows I watch wrestling? They give me all types of shit. Oh, it's fake. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. If I were to go off and tell them, well, I know this is fake, but now I'm a fake wrestler on a fake federation about fake wrestling. Okay, all of a sudden I'm on a whole different planet. Now, at the same time, if you think about fantasy football, it is the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The exact same thing minus the 2000 World role plays.
And the promos.
Yeah, promos. It's the exact same thing. But that's, while acceptable, it's no big deal, probably because it makes people money. Who the fuck knows?
And it's acceptable. I think you hit the nail on the head right there.
Yeah, it's acceptable. For me, I'm a very artistic person. I love to write, and I'm competitive by nature. So I like wrestling. I like to write. I like being competitive. This combines all three. I think we're in the money, boys.
Yeah, and I'm with you there. I mean, that for me, that was always the pull. I am super competitive, and I find less and less avenues for it. And this is one that kind of hits all, like you said, all three of those.
To me, I don't think it's really the wrestling thing per se. I think it's the role playing thing that kind of gets people to shy away from it, or to kind of dust it under the rug, because a lot of people, they don't want. I mean, Kyle actually touched on it a little bit. E-fetting at its core isn't any different than playing Dungeons and Dragons, or whether that be Pathfinder, whether that be Vampire the Masquerade, whichever, it's irrelevant. It's the same kind of thing, and that's something that has always had that kind of embarrassing stigma to it. As far as wrestling, I don't care if people know I watch wrestling. I have people that tell me this stuff all the time about it's fake, blah, blah, blah. And I'll tell them, first of all, it's not fake. It's predetermined and it's scripted. There is a difference. And second of all, so this is story driven. And so is The Young and the Restless, The Bold and the Beautiful, so is General Hospital, so is Seinfeld and the George Lopez Show, all this stuff. Wrestling is just another version of some other show you'd see on TV at its core.
Sure.
It's a soap opera with a fight at the end of it.
Exactly. Soap opera with violence.
Now, I'll have to disagree with you on one point. The George Lopez Show is as real as it gets, motherfuckers.
I do like that show. I wish they had more than 6 seasons of it.
Wait. Was that really a show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
He had his own show, yeah.
Unless he was talking about Lopez Tonight, his talk show he had late at night.
I don't know. I just know he's probably the least funny man on the planet. Well, sorry. Number 2, Cat Williams is less funny than he is. But
it's not a CW, wasn't it?
First, and I was like, shut up.
Cat had some good shit, but now he just lost his mind.
Doesn't that qualify for all of them?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I don't know. Something about Cat Williams always just drove me nuts.
At first he was funny, and so I'm like, all right, he's recycling the same joke.
Yeah.
Some people say that about Tosh Bono.
Oh, Tosh totally does that. That's not even a question.
What do you think about Jeselnik?
Do what? Anthony Jeselnik's fucking hilarious, but he has to be making fun of somebody. If he's not making fun of somebody, he's not all that funny.
I agree. He's terrible if he's not making fun of somebody.
Who?
Anthony Jeselnik.
Oh.
His show, but I love his stand-up.
You know, his stand-up is a lot funnier to just listen to than to watch because he's so boring to watch.
True.
Yeah, he's very deadpan.
Yeah, but if you're listening to him, like, say, The Car, he's hysterical.
But you know who's like that for me as well is Amy Schumer. Like, she can be funny in small doses.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But she's also smoking hot. I'd run that through.
Do you think so?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, that's right up my alley, son.
It's
It's
the whole Cabbage Patch Kid look that she has going on that I just can't do.
Holy shit, I've never put that together.
Congratulations, JP. I just gave you boner kill.
You've ruined that shit for me now. Maybe when she takes her shoes off, her toes are sewn together.
Dangles, you're with us.
Yeah, we're here.
Hey, Jay's here too.
Hey, what's up?
All right, everybody. Class act now. Boss is back in. All right.
So, as we were saying, for the altar we're building to Jay, we need to get rid of the details here.
I'm not sculpting the penis, man. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not touching that. Y'all.
That's what she said. Anyways, Jay, Rob, the topic that we actually started off tonight, we started off with a little open discussion. The topic is e-fetting and its nerdism. Sorry, that's the best word I came up with at the time. The idea that what is it about it that makes it so unbelievably, I guess painful to talk about because I guess we consider it so nerdy.
I got two words: internet and wrestling. That's enough to say. That's my two main things why it feels so nerdy.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'd say, what else did we say? We said internet, wrestling, the fact it's role playing, and a few other things. But that being said, yet it still persists. Yeah, let's go with this. We've seen where fetting has been. How long has everybody been fetting?
Holy shit. 15 years.
I've been fetting since tail end of 2006.
All right, so 7 years.
So about 6 years for me with a good part of 3 years off, so take that how you will.
Okay.
2 years with a 14-year break in between.
Oh, wait, what?
2 years.
Yeah.
2 years. 2
years. 2 years. I had a huge break in between.
By the way, Jay, I told you it was only like 2 years.
Surprising.
Who?
I told Jay that you'd only been doing it for like 2 years. I had just taken a guess.
We were close, yeah. Well, yeah, 1 year with it, yeah, 2 years, because 14 years ago I did it for 1 year and then stopped because of some craziness, and then Roach got me back into it last year. So, yeah.
It's kind of crazy to think about. I've been doing this for 7 years. Holy shit, where's my life gone?
Well, you prepare to feel like an amateur. Jay, how long you been doing it?
10 years.
Okay. Dangles?
Same.
Okay.
Wow.
Dangles is the one got me involved in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All of y'all are welcome.
For me, it's been, I guess 9 years total, but I had like a 6-year break.
Yeah.
So I guess 3 years, right?
I've been writing since like the Yahoo days. No, I take that back. Since the AOL days. That's how I got into it.
Okay.
The fucking email, role play. Then I got the Yahoo, and then from there it just took off. And by that time, I'm like, holy shit, it's 15 years. I'm a nerd.
Hey, Caleb.
Yes, sir.
Are you keeping up with the Death Before Dishonor results tonight?
I am not. because I'm doing the show. But if you could keep me up to date, that'd be glorious.
Rob's writing his role play, so there's no way I can right now.
No, that's okay. Rob,
Actually, I probably could on here. Yeah, I can. Never mind.
it's cool. I've got Windows 7. I could snap that shit to the left. So we've been around, for a long time. I know Keith has been doing this for 21 years.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I've been going since '96.
Okay, so 17
years.
17 years. Good for you, man.
I remember doing it on email.
Okay.
Angel Fire Feds.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
I remember Angel Fire Feds.
Shit.
GeoCities.
Mm-hmm.
GeoCities.
GeoCity. Yep.
Yep.
God, that brings me back. Holy shit.
So, Jay, you'll appreciate this. I went back and looked at I tried to find the earliest Fed that I was in that I could remember. It was definitely on the GameFAQs boards.
What was it?
I have no idea. I just remember that was the only reason that I created an account on that board.
Yes, GameFAQs. That's where I got my start too.
So.
Yeah. I don't even go to that board anymore for game codes. That board's so bad.
I've never actually, ever since they changed it to like the old message board format, I don't even do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, where I was going with that is we've all been doing this for a long time. And the question is, we've all seen where it's been. We've all seen where it is. And we talk about this all the time on the chat, how e-fetting has changed. The question is, where is it going?
Repeat the question. I was reading the results thus far.
Anything good yet?
Well, as we predicted, it's Elgin and Cole in the finals of the World Title Tournament.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
And they let Jay Briscoe open the show.
Oh, well, good. Did he bash any other groups this time?
Zing.
That's all right. Long story. If you watch Ring of Honor, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about. The whole gay bashing thing that Briscoe got hit with.
That wasn't even the gay bashing. It's the fact that he said he didn't want his kid to be taught by somebody who was gay.
Yeah.
And we're not going to get into politics on this show. That's not how we roll. The only politics we get into are Fed politics, suckers.
Backstage powers.
So that being said, we've all been around forever. Where we've seen where fetting was. We've seen where fetting is. Where's fetting going?
Dude, that answer's simple. Just watch wrestling. You want to know where it's going? Just watch wrestling, because whatever's popular is what's coming.
Okay.
Sure enough.
I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with that, but let's see what other people think.
I can say that, I mean, as much as I don't want to admit it, I do have to admit that a lot of my tendencies, the angles that I want to write, the promos I write, I do get some ideas from modern day TNA, WWE, hell, even WWF, and back when TNA was still in the asylum. I mean,
and sometimes you need a filter like Vince Russo.
Minor details. Russo's not that bad.
Oh, we're so not getting into that tonight. Not again.
You hear that like every week?
Every damn week we talk about it.
We're not talking about that fool again, are we?
No, we're not. All right. So anybody else? What do you think? Where's fetting going?
I think we're getting some new blood.
Okay. So kind of a boom period, you think?
No.
Kind of, yeah. You don't think so?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I see new people on the forum, so I assume they're new blood.
For every team, there's one.
Well,
Well, I'm not talking about UW and G. I'm talking about the feds in general.
It's so much of a boom. It's more now of You remember there was a time. Yeah, but you remember there was a time where there was a Fed popping up every 30 seconds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember this. Mm-hmm.
And it was closing just as quick. And it's to a point now where but they're showing that strength in terms of, look, through all the bullshit, through the booms and the highs and lows, we still maintain. We still push forward. Like, that's awesome in terms of federation. Like, as long as UWL has been around, that's fucking unheard of. Unheard of. Most places last a year. That's, like, grandiose. But UWL has been around for, almost 10 damn years, if you think about it. And so something like that, and to see that kind of roster come through and stick around for a while, that's awesome. Hell, the fact that I've been around for 2 years blows my mind.
It's like when you crunch the numbers specifically for UWL, it helps put it in perspective when you realize that, hey, UWL has been alive almost as long as TNA's existence has been.
Holy shit, I never thought about that.
TNA's on their 11th year. UWL, we're coming into our 8th.
Okay, here's a question. Does UWL outlast TNA?
At this rate, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm one of the guys that's actually a pretty hardcore TNA supporter. I don't really like Hogan, but I like what they do. I like the talent they have there. And I honestly want to see TNA succeed. And I do believe deep down that TNA will eventually succeed. This is a rut. This is a rough patch that the company is in, but they can pull through it.
No, I hope they succeed just because I want something else to watch. That way, it keeps the competition on their toes. That way, WWE doesn't have to, force feed bullshit down your throat because it's like, well, what else are you gonna go fucking watch?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Competition makes everybody better.
Yeah.
No matter what level, it makes everything better. So stuff like that, man. Yeah, I kind of believe that they're going to need that. I think they already have stars, but I think they just need that one real big name to make people like, y'all want to see that shit. The fact that Bully Ray's chant, I love that. That's the only reason why I watch is because that dude's chant, because I'm a big Dudley Boys fan and I'm marking out for that shit.
You know, JB, it's funny that you say that because this is actually a topic that we talked about, and I think you were part of this afternoon on the chat. The idea that, I think this was today, Alan, correct me if I'm wrong, but the idea that TNA has actually not created a single star, and hold on, let me finish the thought. They have not they have not created a single star that is known bigger than the company. For example, if you talk about, say, the Attitude Era, and you talk about ECW, if you said ECW, you could probably name some people right off the bat who they were associated with ECW, but at the same time they kind of transcended ECW.
Oh, yeah.
The problem is with TNA, and this is a knock on them, not a knock on their talent, is that people like AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, to a lesser extent, but I'll go with it, James Storm, Christopher Daniels, are all guys who should be, at this point in time, bigger than TNA. But the reality is that if they were to ever show up in WWE, three people, no one would know who they were.
Yep.
Which is
except your true fans.
Exactly. Now that being said, I think that we have, especially with the success of NXT, stuff is kind of molding in the direction that people are expanding their horizons. But in a way, I would argue that's because WWE is competing with itself now, not because TNA is competing.
Well, it goes back to the original point that we made earlier this morning, is that people nowadays in this age of wrestling don't draw. It's the storylines that draw. It's not Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton that's drawing for WWE going into Battleground. It's the storyline, the corporation storyline, the vacant WWE title. That's what's drawing those people in.
Mm-hmm.
It's nostalgic for what we remember.
Interesting. Yeah, okay. Yeah, go for it.
No, I mean, I'm like, please don't think I'm taking anything away from Daniel Bryan or anything like that, because I think he's awesome. I love watching him work. I think that's to me, that's wrestling in its purest form. But if you take any established main eventer and you put them in that same stage, the ratings don't change.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like you said, it's not so much the athlete, it's the story. For me, maybe because I've been watching it since forever, you're right. I'm about the story. I've always been a storyteller, so therefore I am drawn to stories. If I just want to watch athletes all day, well, damn it, I got football 4 or 5 days a week now, so it's no big deal to me anymore. You know, it's always been about the story for me, and even though this story has been done to death, it's still fun to see because it's different.
Exactly. It's like, if I want athletes or wrestling, I'll go watch Ring of Honor or New Japan. If I want storylines or sports entertainment, as I usually tend to favor, I'll go watch WWE or TNA. Because that's what they are. That's what draws you in, is just that storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that being said, don't sleep on New Japan or ROH when it comes to storylines. Even though I do completely agree with you, at the heart of wrestling is storyline. There's a reason why Puro has not gotten huge outside of outside of Japan, is because there's very limited story in there outside of some of the real stuff. Let's look at UFC, for example. UFC is as real as it gets, according to some people. But the reality is that a lot of that is scripted. A lot of that is about the storyline, and things to get over.
They even have a booker.
Exactly my point.
But to I'm gonna play devil's advocate with that when you bring up UFC. The UFC, we are a nation of instant gratification. That's the society we're in, is instant gratification. And I guess the only reason, well, there's a few reasons why I haven't gotten into like Ring of Honor. Probably because it's not on TV, and unless it's coming on TV, I'm not watching it because I don't have time to sit around and look at it on my computer because I'm busy. You know, I got shit going on. You know, if it doesn't come on TV, I'm not going to watch it. With UFC, I got 3 rounds, and chances are I'm going to watch somebody get knocked the fuck out within 30 seconds, and then it's on to the next one. That's awesome. With the story stuff, okay, these guys are telling the story. When these guys are fighting, they're telling the story. Then it's not out to knock the dog shit out of one another.
See, and that's where I disagree
it's kind
with
of
you.
comparing apples and oranges when you say that one.
And that's where I disagree with you, because the problem is that the stories are not in the fight. The fight has nothing to do with the stories. And I'll give you one great freaking example. Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen is a mediocre fighter at best.
Indeed.
However,
but he can talk shit with the best of them.
Because he can talk so damn well, that man is a megastar. That man will make more money, getting his ass kicked than a lot of your top guys in MMA will make. Period. Because he can talk, he can sell a match,
right,
and that's the whole point. He is a draw.
You're absolutely right.
He is a draw.
You're absolutely right in that aspect. But outside of Chael Sonnen, and I would throw Frank Mir in there, but I'm like, outside of Chael Sonnen, in terms of UFC, and like I said, I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Absolutely.
It's about athletic draw. Let's be real. Anderson Silva doesn't speak a lick of fucking English. People want to watch him because he used to. He used to fucking win. Josh Jones, he's all right. Just listen to him talk. But he can knock people out within 40 inches because he's got the wingspan of a vulture, you know? So to an extent, yeah, when you bring up Chael Sonnen, you're absolutely right. I'll give you that one all day long. But it's going to be your major draws is so much to what you're saying on the microphone. Because let's be for real, how many of us actually sat down and watched a UFC, weigh-in? You don't.
Weirdly enough, I did last week. It's boring. I don't suggest anybody ever do it.
No, they're boring as shit.
Yeah,
they're
it's
boring
terrible.
as shit.
It's awful.
But outside of the little video montages you get before the fight, that's all you're going to hear. You know, most guys watch UFC because guess what? They want to see guys get knocked out in the first round. And not just, hey, I won by the ref. Now I want to see somebody get their head knocked clean off. You know? I watch Daniel Bryan because I think he's awesome on the mic, but I can watch him all day in the ring. You know? I don't want that fight to end in 30 seconds. But I watch Josh Jones. Hey, kick that dude's head off his shoulders, please. All right, next.
Well, it also has to do with expectations. Now, that being said, in UFC, and to get back to the whole idea that it's about booking and storylines like that right now, the reality is that those matches are very carefully chosen.
That's true. That's true.
Very, very carefully chosen.
You got to get the best draw for your money.
Absolutely. And now, that being said, that what we talked about earlier today is that the fact that somebody had mentioned the fact that I think it was that Daniel Bryan is selling events. Well, he's really not. And so, well, what about John Cena? Well, no, he's not really doing it either. You know, and we started listing off all these people when we came to the conclusion that these days, and I think this actually kind of carries over to Feds now, and we'll talk about this hopefully, is that there are no more draws in wrestling. No more individual people, and that's because it's now become, for example, if you look at the WWE, a global enterprise. And a global enterprise does not have individual parts. It has combinations, which is why storylines are now the draw. Thoughts?
I mean, while I mostly agree with your thought there, I think even in this day and age of wrestling, there's still a handful of names that do legitimately still draw. I think John Cena is one of those. I think Hunter and Punk are another couple of those.
How about The Rock?
I want to say Dwayne there as well, but let's be honest, as only a part-timer working 1 or 2 matches a year, and he's not even looking to come back, I won't really call him a draw. I don't see him.
Shit, me. I'll give my last testicle right now to see that kind of person.
I mean, WrestleMania 29 was sold because of John Cena trying to get that redemption, trying to get that WWE title back to do the one thing he hasn't done, and that is to defeat The Rock. But that was sold on him. The storyline, sure, was a draw, but a lot of that was just because John Cena, because he is that signature guy. He is the Hulk Hogan of the modern era. And whether we like him or don't like him, whether we think he's stale, he's still the go-to guy.
And I would completely agree with you, except for one thing. I think that at this point in time, it doesn't matter who headlines WrestleMania. People are still going to buy it. They're going to go nuts about it. They are going to, they're going to spend all that money to have the weekend of WrestleMania because it has become exactly.
That's why all your indies are booking their big shows around WrestleMania weekend.
And where are they booking?
Right next door.
Next door. Area. They're booking right next door. ROH has done it for like the last 4 years. Anytime WrestleMania is going on, they get WrestleCon there and they get ROH there.
That's smart business. That's all that is. That's a smart business plan.
Absolutely.
It's I'm going to use the analogy of it's the big whale in the water. All the smaller fish follow the big whale because the whale's so big that it just feeds off everything else from that whale. It's the same exact thing. You go where the biggest animal is and you mooch off that son of a bitch.
Absolutely. Now let's the whole idea, the reason we were talking about that is we're relating it back to Fetting. Jay, you made a good point earlier, and I want you to expand on it if you can. When someone said that they saw Fetting growing, and you say no. Where do you see Fetting going the next couple years?
That all depends on the wrestling boom. If wrestling is popular at the time, Feds will grow. But you look around at the state of the game, outside of UWL I'm talking now, UWL seems to be pretty healthy from where I'm sitting. But you look at the other outside of the game, what we're starting to see Feds pop up out of nowhere randomly, like they did back in the day, back in the GameFAQs day when they were trying to recruit the same talent pool and stuff. And you're seeing Feds struggle outside of UWL. When we were a member of Fed Wars, they thought they'd never seen a roster have 25 people on it. They'd never seen a out-of-character board with almost 50,000 posts. They were shocked by it. So it's maybe we live in a bubble within UWL, not necessarily, but the outside of the game is not as popular as it once was. You could look on, you could go on GameFAQs in 2006, and you could post one link there. Within that one day, you would have 3 talented people join off that one link and off that one, hey, open the Fed. This is what it is. Take a look. You'd have 3 people join off of just something like that. Today, you struggle to find a site that's worth a crap to post a link to advertise. But so Fetting is, I think, within the next 5 years, Fetting may grow, it may not. It just depends on, a lot of it depends on the wrestling boom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I think that was me that said wrestling is growing, or e-fetting is growing, and I think Jay said, no, fool. Because I just see UWL growing, and yeah, I'm comfortable in my bubble because I tried to get out that bubble with Fed Wars, and man,
Yeah, I enjoy my bubble very much.
Growing within that wall because really, UWL is almost in a way it's almost an island to itself. In a way, you could say.
Yeah.
It grows, but does everything else outside of it grow?
Yeah.
It's like Australia.
That's actually probably a great analogy. We were once a prison colony, and now we're here of our own free will.
Everybody wants in.
That's right.
But the best thing about Australia is, Australia like the UWL, everybody wants in, but you realize that everything in Australia and everything in the UWL can kill you.
It's proof.
Exactly.
We have it in proof with the Big Bad Brooks.
Goddamn right.
Well, Jay, I want to hit on something with you there, man, because this is a question that we talk about all the time. If you look around, particularly in the UWL, I would actually argue that we have quite a few people who don't regularly watch wrestling anymore.
I agree.
Yeah.
Which is why I wonder if it is even, and again, it could just be UWL, and I'm willing to bet it is just UWL in this regard, that it's the anomaly in the fact that a lot of these guys don't even watch wrestling anymore, yet we still RP, and actually the storylines we come up with are generally comparable to those that are existing and being put out by the major companies. Mm-hmm. Really without, obviously, since a lot of the guys don't even watch it, without provocation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, think about it, man. We all talk about wrestling, what we like and what we don't like. Now you put us in a position, so to speak, to actually do what we like, and with everything that we believe is wrong, we're able to, I don't want to say correct, but do it the right way in a sense, to where it doesn't get stale, it doesn't get boring, and instead of just one person making all the decisions, you now have a core group of people who can come together and make that happen. That's awesome. That collaboration of people is what makes it fun.
Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts on the matter?
Well, my majority of wrestling, I catch Raw every now and then. I haven't watched it the last 2 or 3 weeks at all, just because I just haven't. And I haven't caught Ring of Honor as much on their TV show because, to me, they've got stale. The majority of my wrestling watching comes on YouTube, watching Puro videos from the 80s or 90s and watching classic wrestling from the 80s.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. I do think that we all have kind of we have our own era of wrestling that we identify with, which is another reason why I think that we have a great deal of variety, is because everybody has those eras that they identify with, and because of that, a lot of that writing tends to reflect that era.
Oh yeah.
And that's fascinating.
With what's going on in today's world, but that's just stuff I enjoy more. If NXT had a regular television show on a regular network, I'll be watching it more than I would anything.
For those that have watched NXT, can we agree that it's probably the best wrestling around right now?
I'd agree.
I definitely agree.
Now, when does that come on? Because I don't. Is it on online only or?
It's on Hulu.
Ah, okay.
I believe it's also aired internationally and in Florida.
Yeah, you're right.
And after WrestleMania 30, they're taking it on the road, outside of Florida.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, see, to me, I have loved watching. Yeah, I download every episode of every show every week because I don't really have 3 hours to spend watching it, but I do have 30 minutes that I can skim through and from time to time, and then rewatch and rewatch and rewatch. Which is another reason why I think wrestling has also changed in the fact that because we are such a DVR culture, a lot of people don't have the same time to devote to it. It's because we choose not to. I don't remember who it was before. I think it was Alan who said that before, that wrestling used to be the thing you got your friends together. No, it was JP. Said you used to get your friends together, and that's how you watched wrestling. But that just doesn't happen anymore.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Does not happen. It's
and only reason why we get my friends together is when we will watch like the big pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And that was usually, it was WrestleMania, SummerSlam, the Royal Rumble,
Survivor Series,
and then one other one to be just kind of goofed off with. But even still, like everybody grew up, and even for a while, like I took my own break from wrestling. I stopped watching it, and then I came back, and I'm like, okay, here I am now. And even still, I'm hit or miss half the time.
Mhm. I get that. I totally get that. So that's why I'm doing my best to raise 2 children that love wrestling.
It's fun. It's funny, and a lot of it can be really kind of predictable. And look, and if you have smart, air quotations here, smart fans, they can usually see what's about to happen like a mile away. But it's still fun to watch because you still want to see it.
Well, I'll use the example of what happened at SummerSlam with Daniel Bryan. Everyone knew what the crap was going to happen at the end of that, but it was still fun. And except for the other Justin, everybody has seemed to love it so far.
I mean, as a testament to that, and this is something I never do during football season. Last Monday night, I had Raw on the computer, and I had Monday Night Football on the TV. Usually during football season, I focus on football on Monday night, and then I either watch Raw later on DVR or I download it. But this week, I watched them both simultaneously because even though I knew what was going to happen in regards to the title match, I still wanted to see it.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. Anyways, so that being said, we're talking about excitement. We're talking about things that we go out of our way for. Let's talk about this last week's show, the big pay-per-view, the one that had quite a build-up to it. Grand Voyage. Which one is that? 6?
Yeah. Yes.
Not bad. So, if this is your first time calling, we don't do it the way we used to do it on the radio show. We don't do the whole, let's go part by part, blah, 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 blah. We're not doing that crap anymore. It's boring. It sucks. What we are going to do is I wanted to ask, what was your favorite part? What stuck out to you about the show, and why?
The effort. The effort everyone put in.
Absolutely. It was a fantastic week of effort.
Caleb holding on to the rope.
That was huge.
I didn't see that coming.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. My thing was that I didn't see the Coach Cheddar, Joe Jones Alliance thing coming. Took me by complete surprise. I was like, what?
How did that go?
That when Frankie wins the belt, and then Robb Daniels slides in the ring. Huh? Oh, I thought you were talking about how did the segment itself go.
Oh, no, I've got eyes.
Oh.
That sound you heard is that joke. bombing.
Hey, it's not one of my jokes if no one gets it. Keep going though, Alan. Absolutely, man.
Now let's see here. And then other people, myself included, kind of surprised by my own spot there in the my match with Valor, the whole pile driver thing, which I know I kind of marked out for, just to, like, wow. and again, like Brooks said, the whole Heritage title match, that was just like, I didn't. I mean, it's weird that reading the Caleb Hart promos going up to the show, I detected a hint of a heel tendencies, but I brushed it off, and I was still surprised to see the heel roll up there, the grabbing a hold of the ropes to go and win the belt. It just, mind equals blown, just like, wow.
If that's the case, that I feel like that means we did our job.
Absolutely, you did your job, and you should be proud.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could speak for myself and Keith and say that we are. Absolutely. Although
I didn't even know which way to call it. It was that close. I'm glad I wasn't in the position to judge that, because I would have probably said, I don't know. I don't know how to call this.
Luckily, as I discovered, Jay can be bought.
Everybody has a price.
Everybody has a price. And I'm completely kidding, by the way. I'm not. that is not what happened at all. It was a lot of fun, and I too loved the anticipation. Even though I didn't like being up till 3 a.m. to figure out who won, I'm not gonna lie. I may or may not have woken up my children when I discovered that I won that match. Because they're kids and they sleep all the time. Daddy had some fake glory to celebrate.
In writing that match, and it was totally unintentional, it was wrote into 4 parts, if you read it. And
yes.
It felt like a MMA match to me for some reason. It just felt like a hard-hitting. And the point that I cannot believe no one has not noticed, I don't think everyone's reading thoroughly enough, the point that caused Caleb to snap,
yes,
was the busting of the nose.
Yeah,
I noticed that.
That was the one thing.
I thought that.
Okay, good. That was the one thing that Jay and I talked about that it felt like nobody else seemed to get. It's not like it was sudden, like it was the plan.
It's just something that I wrote in on my own.
Yeah, that was my favorite part, hands down, was when I saw that and I knew something was about to happen. Which, by the way, how awesome it is that we can have that mindset of being able to look at this stuff. And yeah, we're waiting for results and all this stuff, and we're waiting for this stuff, but we're sitting here and actually not knowing what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. That just doesn't happen that often these days, particularly in e-fetting.
It's one thing to be able to predict WWE or predict TNA, but at least myself, I've never actually been able to predict what's going to happen in UWL. Outside of no-shows, of course, but...
Which is fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic.
8 years of a Fed going, and you still can't predict what's going to happen next? I mean, that's unheard of.
And it's a testament to Jay and to everyone that in this Fed that puts in that effort to make these shows great. I know I can say proudly of UWL that during the time we were in Fed Wars, if you'd actually read any of those other results, there's a reason ours were head and shoulders above, but it's because of the effort that people put in, and the communication that people have. It's fantastic. So what other parts of Grand Voyage did people love?
Well, I always mark for a pile driver spot, so I mean I knew Valor no showed, but I did not see that pile driver coming. I thought it was magnificent. I marked out when CM Punk pulled a pile driver on John Cena.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, I marked out when Bully Ray did it to Anderson a couple weeks ago on Impact. Even though that pile driver looked weak, it's still a, quote, pile driver. unquote.
Getting dropped on your head hurts like hell, no matter how weak it's done.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So we saw quite a few title changes, if I remember correctly. I believe, outside of one, every title changed hands. Correct?
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
Yeah.
And New Heritage, New World.
The tag titles were not defended. You're right. They were defended the week before, and they did change hands.
Mm-hmm.
But you're absolutely right. So we have almost an entire new set of champions here, even if there are some familiar names on it. Speaking of the championships in that regard, I think one of my favorite matches, and I think it's one people aren't talking about enough, is the world title match. This was something that actually really got my interest throughout the week as I saw Justin and Trent RPing and really bringing some good stuff, man.
Thanks, man.
I have said it repeatedly, and I told him this at lunch the other day, and I'll tell him it again. The RP that, in my opinion, of course, the RP that Trent wrote, his last RP for this past week, was one of the best I've ever seen. And that's credit to him, but that's also credit to JB for giving him such a tremendous palette to work from.
Thank you. You really did too, man. For real. Thanks, y'all.
Oh, I tried. You guys are just. Oh.
It was a really intense match to actually read.
I want to tell you something later, Brooks. So not now. I can't do it now. But I do. I think I told it to Caleb at lunch too. So I got to tell you something later.
He's got to tell him something. What are you going to tell him?
Frankie and Justin sitting in a trunk.
What are you going to tell him?
Oh yeah.
He's going to pop the question.
I guess I can tell him that.
I have an idea.
What? In the butt? No, what?
No.
Oh, God.
Yes. The greatest song ever.
Just a thought. Anyways, continue.
No, I was just going to say, if he really wants to bring Landon Adams back, I could actually run something with him. I know I'm tagging with Joe, but I can run a face to tag with him too.
Well, how about
so if you want to,
how about after I beat you in a month, you can go tag with Joe? How about that?
How about what?
How about after I beat you in a month, you can go tag with Joe?
Maybe.
Fabulous.
Maybe.
The gauntlet has been thrown down.
Oh yes, it's been launched.
I got
maybe, yeah, man.
It concerns to Trent and JB their excellence, if you will. I've been updating the UWL wiki page lately, or the past 2 days actually. I've been updating all the title reigns and the length of them in the world title. A smart mouth idiot got on Twitter once and said that I like long title reigns. Well, UWL this year has had more changes this year than in its history. But the closest two to having reigns of 100 days are two people, and that's Trent and JB. Trent this year and JB last year during his first reign. I think that's a testament to you two and your all skill level to be able to bring the goods like you all do.
And this is at the world title level.
Right, exactly.
Thanks, yeah.
Well, actually, since we're, I want to. There's something actually I did want to bring up, but I wasn't quite sure how I want to say it.
Do it.
There's a lot of people. Well, me and Caleb talked about it before, and there's a word that I want to bring up that a lot of people don't understand. The word is nuance. If people who hung around enough knew that the history between JB and Frankie isn't very good. These boys don't like each other. These boys, I mean, they're going to go out their way to hurt each other. And so, so a lot of people were saying that, you know, I was writing heelish. To an extent, yeah, I'll give it to them. I was. There's a reason for it. Because if you look at two characters, they are complete opposites, if you will. They don't like it.
A gentleman and a
They
gangster.
have no qualms telling you that they don't like each other. Yeah, it's a gentleman. That's exactly what named that whole series the way it is, a gentleman versus a gangster. These two don't like each other at all. So there isn't going to be any love lost here. There isn't going to be, oh, I really respect Frankie as a, like, no, fuck that.
No.
Fuck that. Everything stands for,
And
I want to hurt him.
And JB's more of an anti-hero anyway.
Right.
Yeah, he
He'll
is.
tell you what he thinks, whether he likes you or not, whether you're heel or face. If you're a face, he's going to tell you he hates your guts if he don't like you. He's the anti-hero.
Yeah. And that's what makes it. That's what made it so much fun for guys who've been around enough and who can, in a sense, read between the lines between the two of them, and that's what made it fun. Like if you read Frankie's stuff, it was real easy to see that Frankie didn't like Justin either. Because he felt as he was, silver spoon the whole night, the world put on the platform. And then on flip side, Justin like this little street urchin over here. No. It goes both ways, and it's so much fun to write that kind of stuff because you can do it all day long, and it never gets old. But a lot of people want to get within the black and white of good guy versus bad guy and this, that, and the other. I'm like, sometimes, man, that doesn't matter, and you just find two characters who generally hate the shit out of one another. And this is what you get. You just get raw writing, and that's awesome.
And I want to go right off of that because you hit the nail on the head with something that I think, and like I said, and like you said, we talked about it a lot this week. The idea of nuance. One of the things that I think it was Alan that pointed it out, and I'm glad that he caught it because I'm not entirely sure how many people caught it. Was that we talked about people that don't like each other. If you read the Caleb and Stevenson RPs from that week, you saw an entire progression throughout the span of 10 RPs that probably did more in just RPs than a month of TV could have done. And the reality is that what you actually saw, and then as it built up into the match, was you saw two people that had a firm foundation on what they are, and throughout the week, you saw that nuance take over, and suddenly the roles kind of switched a little bit. It went from this idea of respect to desperation to baiting to all that different things. And that's another reason why I think we need to point out the fact that the best work is done in the RPs. A segment, a show is irrelevant if the RPs that back it up aren't worth the storyline they're building. If you went into this match with Justin Brooks and Frankie Cochise and didn't think that they hated each other, it's because you were blind. And that was
absolutely.
And that was the whole point. They went into this. These two, the belt just happened to be on the line.
Yeah, it wasn't really about the belt.
Right. It was about principle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that match at Grand Voyage, for all we care, that could have been, let's say, Robb Daniels defending the UWL title versus Arch Stanton, because JB and Cochise didn't even need the belt. It was kind of like the way Bobby Roode and James Storm happened at Bound for Glory last year. That match was incredible, and there wasn't even a championship or anything on the line there. Not even a number one contenders match.
Right, and in this case, the World Heavyweight Championship actually, even though it wasn't necessarily the central focus, it became a central focus because you had two people whose entire storyline was based around hatred for each other, and it just got brought to a whole new level because this time everything is on the line. And that's fantastic planning by JB and Trent. It was fantastic all the way around. And I think, in my opinion, Grand Voyage was one of my favorite shows since I've been here in the last, 6 months now. Hands down, my favorite show.
I can get behind that.
I think I have to agree with that as well. And, I mean, that's hard for someone like me, because I've read so many shows here in UWL, from my very first Supercard there at Battle of the Bluegrass. I think that was up to the various access denied, the Grand Voyages, the Nightmares, the anniversary shows. But the Grand Voyage last week really stood out. I mean, I mentioned it in the review thread that if this was a pay-per-view, I would be okay with spending $49.99 to actually buy it.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it, and I agree with that, absolutely. And again, a testament to those that wrote and contributed and did all that good stuff, and absolutely to Jay for giving us that nuance in those matches. So what else? What else did we enjoy about the show? Let's get a couple more minutes in, then we'll take a little bit of a break, and then we'll come back.
To be honest with you, even though I like the fact that Caleb won the Harris title, the fact that Drew lost, and I wrote about it today too. Everybody gets on. I don't want to say everybody. A lot of people like to get on the bandwagon when the guy wins a lot. It happens. It's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When a established character, and I say established because I believe Drew is an established character in the UWL, and Brooks for that matter too. When an established character loses, and not just loses a tag match, when a character loses big, to me it's a big deal because one, it opens up like, okay, you lost. We've been seeing you on this tear. We've been seeing you win. Let's see what happens now as you've lost. Like, where do you go now? What do you do? Do you stay the course? Do you change the game up? Do you evolve? Do you regress? Whatever. When an established character loses, it creates something great. Look at Trent, for example. He loses to Brooks at Championship Extravaganza, comes back out the gate hard. And go back and read those three he put out. You see the progression of a man who lost, who had to get his shit together, comes back and wins big.
Not just lost, lost twice. I gotta add.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but I'm saying, but that regression, I call it a regression into progression, because you have to lose to move. And it's weird. You have to lose big to move forward, and that's something that I can't wait to see what Keith puts out with that, because that's going to be awesome. That's going to be fun to watch, because, like I said, to me, he is the number one face of the UWL, and so to see where he comes from there is going to be awesome. To see where Caleb goes with, like I said, and to watch that nuance of that major evolution within an RP, or that whole match, where that goes from there is going to be awesome, because a match that started off with respect turned into desperation. Now it's like everybody has seen the man behind the curtain there. So it's like, okay, Caleb isn't what everybody, he's not what everybody thought he was now. So where does he go from here? Like, that stuff right there, but outside the main event, the undercard I love it. That is some of the fun stuff. I love reading that stuff. I love picking up on the small things like that. And even though some people said that, the going into Grand Voyage was kind of flat, that show blew the door. That show is the show of 2013. And I'm saying that with it being September. Because to me, the bar's been set so high now. It's like, all right, Nightmare's coming, boys. Here we go. Mm-hmm. You got to beat that. What do you have for me now?
I can't wait to see Nightmare 4, to see if we can actually top what we did for Grand Voyage. I mean, I want to see us do that. Because I'm not sure it can be done, to be honest.
Watch us.
Exactly. I mean, I can't wait to see it. I hope that we do, but I have my doubts, because that's a really high level that we have to beat in order to get something even better than the show of the year. I mean, and I can't wait to see if we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Alan, 20 times a day until Nightmare 4, I want you to keep telling us that it can't be done.
It's motivation, it's fuel.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying all day long. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
Well, that being said, or JB, I want to get to a point that you hit on, and it's one of the questions that people I think did miss about the Caleb Drew thing, and it's one of the things I want to put out there. Who's the one that showed desperation first? Was it Caleb or was it Drew? And that's not a question. That's not a question that obviously gets answered. That's part of that's part of the things I want you to take, kind of keep an eye on here. Who was the one that really showed desperation? Was it Caleb? Was it Drew? And that adds that extra nuance to that feud. So just something to keep an eye out on. And the best part is you're going to see that in all of these feuds right now, which is fantastic. So that being said, let's take let's see, how long is this song I'm going to play? Which one am I going to do? We'll do that one. Okay, we're going to take like a 3-minute break. We'll come back. We'll do all our good radio show type stuff. We're going to talk about the next card, and then we're going to talk about maybe if Dangles is done writing his RP by then, 10-12, probably not. We're going to go ahead and we're going to talk to Dangles a little bit since he's got the big title shot coming up here, if he's available, of course.
Looks like he just left the call or something.
He probably did. It's all good. He'll be back. Anyways, there you go. Add us back. So we're going to play a song here real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and get back going on our discussion. So, anyways, for those that were curious, it was actually a toss-up between that one and Triumph by Wu-Tang Clan.
Classic, too.
I figured we'd be good either way.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we've talked about what's going on. We've talked about where we've been. We're going to talk about where we're going. Hey, Dangles, you free right now?
We're here. I'm sorry, it was my internet disconnected twice.
Oh, it's all good. Are you writing right now, or are you free to talk?
Well, Photo Bucket is down, so I'm having to go back through my old road place to get like a theme banner. I'm trying to put my thing together.
Okay.
Dude, just write your shit and then just edit it later. Even if it's after the deadline, you could just edit the images there. It should be okay.
Yeah, I know, but it's like it's done. Jay knows it's done. I'm just trying to piece it together. Like, with the graphic in it,
I don't want you to fucking be late because of that. Just, you know what I mean? What? You do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hell, I mean, you got like an hour and 45 minutes till the deadline comes up.
Yeah, we're good to go. We're fine.
Yeah,
go ahead, point it.
All right, cool.
All right. Well, Robert, we actually want to start with you. Jay, you were going to say something, boss?
I was going to say Rob can talk. Keep the iPad sitting between. He can talk.
Okay. We're talking about the future. We're talking about the fact that the big thing going on right now is the fact that we already know one match that's going to be set up for Nightmare, and that's going to be Senor Cochise, Co-Sleazy if you're nasty, versus Cochitos.
Dangerously Cochise.
That's right. Going up against you, Senor Daniels, for the UWL World Heavyweight Championship and of the world. Jay, I have a question for you, and Rob, Jay and Rob, I guess. Rob, have you ever had a shot at the world title?
I've had 2 unsuccessful opportunities.
And one of them was this year.
One was at Honor and Glory back in March.
Okay. You're going up against Frankie at Nightmare. You were the only confirmed match. Are you ready?
Absolutely. If I'm not, then I'll never be ready because I've had like 2.5 months to be ready.
Right.
Do you think that the weight is actually kind of hurt, or has it helped?
It's helped. It really has.
Why is that? Good talk.
Maybe he went out again.
I think they did. You guys go out again? Yep. They're gone. Yep.
Vintage Skype. Vintage internet.
That's vintage Kentucky internet.
I love
Bluegrass Communications.
There you go.
Okay,
I heard something about Battle of the Bluegrass earlier. That's a good example as to why that stuff just doesn't work.
At least it's not Cox Internet, eh, Alan?
I know, right? Hey, Cox Communications. Your friend in the digital age. The fuck you are.
Tell us how you really feel.
That is how I really feel.
Anyway.
See, back when I lived in Phoenix, when I was still staying with my pops, he had a Cox Internet, and I almost felt like going down to their office because it was only about a half mile from the house, and I was gonna go in there all in full Allen gear and just do a shoot promo on them and why their service is so shitty.
That would have been legendary.
Yes, it would have.
But you wouldn't have had to worry about it because they record everything we do anyway. So you're good to go. All you have to do is just bitch online.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, Dangles.
Yes.
All right. So the question is, why has it helped?
I've been.
Oh God.
Man, this is suspenseful.
Oh my God. Yeah.
At this point in time, I think it's God trying to say it doesn't matter how it's helped.
They don't want us to know.
Well, Trent, I'll ask you. Are you ready?
Yes, I stay ready.
You stay ready. There you go.
Yeah, I stay ready, man.
Now you and Rob have a history, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Lead us through that a little bit.
Well, when we joined as the original Gray, I'm the only surviving member. We had a 3-on-3 with Brooks, Valor, and Daniels, and Daniels actually pinned me in that match.
Okay.
And then we had a 1-on-1 match that was just this straight singles. And what the hell was that?
All right, who's watching porn? JB.
I'm at work, dicks.
So I'll say it again. JB, why are you watching porn?
JB is watching white girl porn.
He's watching firefighter porn. which is essentially just an enormous fire.
That's pretty much
Save me!
JB got that firing calendar up there.
Right.
And this fire is Miss March.
That's right. The video's called "Where My Hose at 8."
Idle.
They call it on fire, anal.
That's right.
The fire's on my ass.
Bring out the fire hose.
Right.
Oh God damn.
That's not a hose, and yes, I'm excited to see you 36.
What's going on there? Hot stuff. There's a fire outside.
And Rob and Jay, that's what you've missed. So, at this point in time, Rob, I'm pretty convinced that God doesn't want you to answer the question.
Okay, I'm going to try while I can.
Go for it.
I think over the last 2 months, I've been able to stay relevant, and I've been able to have small, minor feuds and some good matches with guys I've not faced in the past. And, it says a lot. They really stepped up their game, and I think Frank Washington, Joe Jones, Troy Vincent, guys like that, they've all done a great job. And I've had one tough loss to JB, but it made sense, should JB have won the title, retained the title, and it been me and him, because we would have been one win each going for that tiebreaker, like me and Frankie are. We both faced twice this year with a win over each other. So it really works out, and I'm very fortunate that Jay has booked me in order to be relevant. Anybody else who would have done it would have probably flopped, but Jay really took care of, with the way the matches were booked, and I didn't just drop down a notch and people forget who I was and forget that I had the title shot. Now that I'm here, it's just like I've been waiting, and now it's my time.
Absolutely. And to me, for what it's worth, I think that's actually probably to me been the best part is that I've seen all this stuff going on knowing Daniels is just waiting. He's biding. And that is cool in an era of instant gratification, as JB called earlier, that we know someone's got a title shot coming up. The question is, when was it coming? And now that it's here, I've actually legitimately got some anticipation about this. I'm excited to see it.
I mean, it's legit. I mean, Frankie and I, we've got a lot of planning to do, but it's going to be worth the wait. We've already been doing some talking over Skype with me and him and Jay, and we talked about some interesting things, and we've got history, so it should pan out a really good story.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, cool. Well, that's something that we're looking at. We know that's going to be at Nightmare, but let's go ahead and let's talk about this next show. From what I'm seeing here, for the first time in a long time, we don't have any title matches or anything like that. It's actually just going to be a straight up great TV taping. So let's. I'm going to go through these matches. I want to hear some thoughts from people, maybe some predictions, since we're coming up on that time for the end of the RP period. But yeah, let's go ahead and do some predictions, I guess. The first match we have is Phoenix Winterborn versus Ashton Bennett.
I love that name, Phoenix Winterborn.
It's a good name.
Ashton Bennett, don't call him Danae.
Oh, yeah, the name I kept calling him last week, right?
Yeah, it's Bennett. unless you want to call, it's Bennett like it looks, unless you feel like calling JB, Justine Brew Oaks, like you got to be careful.
I could do that.
Or call Robert.
Don't encourage him.
Say Robert Dangles.
I could do that too.
It's only fair. Anyways, thoughts on that match?
They've both only shown one promo each. They're both coming off a loss at Grand Voyage. I think, and this is probably going to be a fairly unpopular opinion among most people, but I think I actually want to give the edge to Bennett. I like the way that his character developed a little bit more than just the 2 paragraphs that Winterborn came up with.
Out of curiosity, why do you think that would be an unpopular opinion?
Because it seems the opinions I've gathered from other people in the usual Skype convo, they seem to think that Winterborn's mostly a lock to win this match, and I just don't quite see it.
Okay, absolutely. Gentlemen, other thoughts?
Well, I think Winterborn's gonna come away with this one, but I mean, to be honest, we haven't seen all that much from either guy yet, so.
No, we haven't.
Okay.
Just a gut feeling.
Okay. JB, you good over there, brother?
Yeah, man, I keep clicking in and out, but I'm good.
All right, cool. All right. Well, let's go to the second match on the card then. We've got Wolf Parker versus Ice.
Wolf Parker's going to take it.
Has Ice even RP'd this week?
No, he has not.
He has not, so yeah, I gotta go with Wolf.
We haven't seen him since his loss at Grand Voyage.
Okay.
I don't even think he's been on the boards either.
Okay. And for those that have been reading all the RPs, Wolf's last RP that he wrote was absolutely fantastic. One of the best he's done with that character. He did a magnificent job.
He did. I liked it.
Yeah. All right, match number 3. We have El Cazador Uno versus Salman Van Dam. As you can see, I'm over my fear of them. So who you got in that match?
Well, I got El Cazador simply because SVD hasn't RP'd yet.
LCAS 1 hasn't promoted either, though, I don't think.
I thought I saw some.
Yes, he has.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, that's kind of a shame that SVD hasn't shown in the last couple of weeks, because if anyone caught it a couple of weeks ago, or actually Grand Voyage, I kind of recruited SVD into Devastation Inc. because I want to work with him and help him get up to that level where he feels like he has something important to do. And it's kind of a shame that he hasn't done anything with it.
He's been busy with wrestling school. He's a good dude, though.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I know he's good for it. I know he'll get back to it when he can.
Yep. It's still a shame, though. No shows are not fun.
No, they're not.
I hate no shows. Well, speaking of non-no shows, that is, we have one of the matches I was really looking forward to this week, which was Arch Stanton versus Jay Scarlett. And I'll go first on this one. I think Stanton gets this one for multiple reasons, but the biggest one is that, dude, I love the Stanton character and the fire that he's come back with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these have been some of his best RPs that I've read. And I came in at the end of the last Arch Stanton run. But these are fantastic, in my opinion.
I think Stanton should also win, but for different reasons, and that's from when I read Scarlett's promo earlier. I don't know what it was, something about him. I don't get him. I don't understand the Scarlett character, and if I can't understand it, I can't get behind it. I can't try to root for it or whatever. Combine that with the fact that I do like the old school feel that Stanton has, and, well, you can do the math.
Clear it up for me. Who is Stanton's pick base?
Wasn't he
a good question.
Stan Stasiak?
Is that Stan Stasiak? Thank you.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Yes, it's Stan Stasiak.
Thank you. Yeah, Jay, I know you said that last week. I just blanked.
He should make his pick base Clint Eastwood.
His pick base Stan Hansen.
Stan Hansen?
Yeah.
It is, or that's not Stan Hansen.
Oh, it should be.
It should be. Yeah, I agree with that. As long as it keeps it Stan. It could be Stan from South Park for all I care.
And the man, remember that when he tried to be a wrestler?
That's right. That's exactly what I was going for.
That was a good episode.
All right, Jay. Stop with the hot rodding over there.
I'm going up down the road, not us.
No, it was actually, I think, JB. Okay, so number 5, we have Scotty Adams versus Autumn Raven.
Scotty calls himself Never Say Die for a reason. He's not going to take a loss here to Autumn. I mean, it's going to be a good match regardless. I've always liked Autumn, Jenny, whatever you want to call her. I've always liked her promos. I've always wanted to see her succeed. But I'm pretty well invested in the Adams character right now. And he's the one that I see moving on.
The only thing bad I can say about Autumn's writing is that her font color is hard to read.
Oh, tell me about it. I've said that about to her a couple times, though. She hasn't done anything about it.
You know why? Because she don't cur. Screw you.
Right.
She got to change that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she changed her dialogue.
Yeah, I think everyone is giving her crap about it, but give her credit. She's heard that and said she didn't give a crap. That's pretty badass.
Hell yeah, it is.
Oh, I don't know if she's actually flat out said that, but I'm going by actions here.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. Ain't nothing bad about that. Okay.
I actually changed my font color to a different shade of blue because some people I've heard on the board say that it's hard to read. So, all right, I'll just change the shade some. And I hope mine haven't been hard to read.
That's why I use the colors that I use.
Well, Alan, you also are like one of the few people that actually uses that awful gray theme.
Hey, I love the Legacy skin. That Legacy skin is like awesome. I've tried changing it around to one of the green ones. I've tried moving it to the blue ones, the pink one, and I'm just like, it's not UWL without that legacy skin that old Rich Hamilton designed. So.
I respectfully say no way.
Respectfully say nay.
I respectfully say nay. All right, brings us to match number 6, the UWL television title #1 contender match. Captain Fury versus Frank Washington. And this is actually one of my highlights of this week.
Well, I can only predict the same thing as last week when I was in a match. I can only predict a great match. No, but seriously, I've loved Fury's work he's thrown out against me this week.
Absolutely.
The second one especially had to make me really think about my third one because he caught on some of the what's the word I'm looking for?
Nuance?
Thank you, nuance. Caught on with some of the nuances with the Frank Washington character, and as someone who's been writing that, I'm glad somebody actually caught that in character.
You know, up until this show started, I was ready to give the slight upper hand to Captain Fury. Then when Caleb tipped me off to Kyle posting that last promo, and I read that, I gotta tip the scales back over there to give the Frank Washington character the W. I gotta do it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. As the expression goes, we all have opinions, and we all have assholes, and generally they're one and the same.
Everyone has opinions like assholes. Everyone has one. Of the share.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I do want to kind of take a sidetrack here and say something that a lot of us have said, but I think it's good to get out there, is that the Frank Washington character, and Kyle, the work that you've done with him has been absolutely fantastic. I did not know what to expect, because of course I'd only known you from the out of character aspects of stuff, but when you started writing, I gotta say, I truly enjoy reading Frank Washington.
Thank you. Well, I always tend to be my own biggest critic, as Alan can attest to over the years. I could write something, I could think it's shit, but then like 3 or 4 people tell me, hey, this is some of the best stuff you put out yet, so what do I know, right?
That's the beauty of writing in a subjective environment, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, next. Sorry, keeping it classy. Next we have, which one? We have Caleb Hart versus Becca Stevenson. I'm not predicting a great match. I'm predicting a slaughter.
Well, I can only say 3 words. Long live the king. You're running hot right now.
Long live the king. Oh.
The king is one word.
Okay.
At the beginning of the week, I wanted to give the nod to Becca because I wanted to think that this would give her something to shoot for, the chance to beat the Heritage Champ in a non-title match, the chance to step up for the, as I recently found out, in-character husband of what happened at Grand Voyage. But as the promos have turned out for the week, I can't endorse her to win. This absolutely has to be Caleb Hart in convincing fashion.
I'm not going to argue with that. I agree with that.
Forgive me, add a Steiner moment for a moment.
Bitch! And gentlemen, you're forgetting something. It's not the king, it's the God King.
That's
you shall
right.
fall to your knees and openly weep.
That sounds like something I should incorporate into my next promo.
Too bad, already taken. It's funny. We talked about that this week. One of the cool things that's happened, and I think a lot of this has to do with Grand Voyage and a lot of resurgence of stuff recently, is the fact that I think a lot of people have finally gotten away from trying to book each other's character so much as people are now trying to help each other refine their character. So, for example, if you look at the RPs for this week, and I can attest to this personally, is that a lot of the stuff that happened in the RPs this week and my RPs this week were directly based on conversations I had with people who gave me good ideas as far as where I wanted to take the character. I didn't have to listen to those ideas, but as it happens, a lot of them were pretty damn good. So just another thing I want to say came from Grand Voyage, in a good way. Is that, again, we focusing on the character and how to improve each other's character, how to help each other, not book them. Totally different thing.
They are.
And anyways, that's been a lot of fun. And thank you, by the way, for all the people who have helped me, particularly this week, because I've never been a heel ever. And thank you to everyone who's given me some support and some inspiration on what to do. I really, really appreciate it from all you guys.
I mean, that's just part of being a community. We're a community of each other. We're a family. We look out for each other. We look out for our own. So, I mean, we help you just like we know that you would help us all the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt, man. So, well, speaking of helping out, a guy who's been a big help to me recently, and is also the next match on the card, and another man who's been pretty helpful recently, we have Drew Stevenson versus Alan Christopher, in what to me is probably the match of the week.
Mm-hmm.
All I can say, UWL.
Yeah, darn right.
All I can say is this has been like one of the most amazing matches that I've role played for. I mean, it dates back to the fun I had back years ago when I was jobbing to Sean Stevens for 3 months in the main event. I mean, this match with Stevenson, it's like, I've said it before throughout the week, and I'll say it again here on air. It's such an organic match. The way that you got the top heel versus someone who has the possibility to be one of, if not the top heel, versus Stevenson as the top face. And they clash. There's such a great interwoven layer to the two of them facing off in a match. Mm-hmm. The classic story of good versus evil.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Other thoughts?
Oh, I just love the dynamic Alan and Drew have had this week. I love every minute of it.
I think as a testament to Keith, I think everybody here who's faced him has said the same thing. After a week of facing Keith, God, I didn't remember that it could be that fun.
Mm-hmm. Especially me writing the second promo of the three that he actually got out of me. That one sticks out because just the whole using the movie projector to throw up their Photoshop slideshows and trying to tempt the top face with all these worldly, materialistic possessions. It's just, I don't know, just something about it. It just had that certain feeling inside you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, as JB called him, the workhorse of UWL, I don't think any of us are going to argue that.
Nope.
I won't.
Hear no objections from me.
There you go. Okay, and that brings us to our last match, the main event, if you will. We have Frankie Cochise and Joe Jones going up against Justin Brooks and his tag team partner, the one, the only Robb Dangles, in a mainstream reunion, a one night only. Which to me is pretty fantastic.
And I have to say, I like the little comment that Joe Jones made on Twitter to add a little dynamic to it. The boy obsessed with his book and the man obsessed with his ab flexor.
Yep. That was great.
Damn, I gotta look at his Twitter.
I retweeted that one.
Yeah, if you want to take a good idea, or you want to get a good idea to how to use Twitter as a character, look at the way Joe Jones does it, and you're gonna learn. He's a master. So, thoughts about the match? Which, by the way, I thought RP-wise was looking fantastic this week.
You know, it's a really hard one to call. And I haven't seen Robert Daniels' promo yet for the week. But from what I've seen right now, because I've read all the promos up to when the show started. And from what I've read, especially with Joe Jones' promo, I feel that makes it really hard to top Joe Jones and the Champ in this match.
Okay. I hear you. Other thoughts?
Well, I think it's one that'll definitely come down to the wire. I don't think Robb Daniels or JV should be counted out by any means, but Robb, you're going to have to put out a good one here because I think as it stands right now, I got to give it to the Champ and Double J.
Hey, you know what? We all got to put people over sometime. Might as well be this week.
Dude, what did you say?
Hey, everybody's got to put somebody over at some point, so we might as well be this week.
I reject that reality, and I substitute it with one of my own.
I love putting people over. I mean, I'll put people over like all the time. That's why I've kind of coined the term for myself, the William Regal of the UWL. Because that's how I see myself.
I'm surprised you didn't mention. I need to mention. What, y'all didn't like my drawing? What?
I thought that drawing was fabulous, Trent.
That was a masterpiece. That should be in an art museum.
I had to do it. I came up with the inspiration to do it while I was writing it. I came up with the inspiration. I was describing it. I was like, you know what? No, I'm just going to fucking make it. I just fucking started to do it. And I sent it to my buddy Scott because I know he likes to fucking make stuff in paint, and he said 7 out of 10. I said, why 7 out of 10? He said, no wieners. And the font color is hard to read because you got it in white. So I sent it to him in black. I said, what do you think now? He said, 8 out of 10. I said, well, 8 out of 10? He said, yeah, still no wieners. Just put some wieners. 10 out of 10. Well, I ain't putting it.
Shit. That's funny.
That is good. That's good. Well, any other thoughts on this week's show? We've got one heck of a stacked card yet again.
I have been so eager to find out who the hell is going to win the Stevenson-Allen match. I mean, we finished our promos on like Wednesday, and I'm just sitting here going crazy, going, I want to know who's going to win.
That is the one downside to finishing your week early, is that you then have even those many more days to figure out who bested the other.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the real reason Robb waits till the last minute to post his last RP for the week, is because he's a pro at this. He doesn't feel like waiting. He knows what's up.
The other thing that I like here is there's actually, 20 people booked on this card, and there's some people in UWL who aren't even booked. I think that's awesome. That's a huge roster.
Yeah, and a large roster is something that can be very difficult to manage, but luckily, I think it's worked out really well.
I agree.
Especially with the fact that we have people showing up for a week or so and then never showing back up. Well, speaking of that, you talked about him earlier, but one of the people who I'm most excited about seeing back is someone you actually said you didn't get his character, which is fine. But I am personally very excited that we've got Jay Scarlett back with us. I've loved every character that he's done, but I particularly enjoy Jay Scarlett. And it's great that he, I know he took like a couple month break and he's finally back hanging out with us. It's good to have him back. He's a good dude.
We also have a former name considering a return, Tim Harrison. And I know Philip, the researcher you are, probably looked up Tim Harrison's work in the past.
As soon as I saw him, yes, I did. He's got some history in this Fed, as Alan also pointed out on the boards this week. He's a good name to come back, and he hasn't been around for a long while.
It has been a long time.
So
I remember when I first joined, Tim Harrison was United States Champion. And that was back in 2007, maybe it was 2008.
2008.
Yeah. And, I mean, and his promos were always, like, solid, always right up there. I mean, maybe I might be misremembering something because it's been a while since I've seen him write, but at the time, to me, they always felt like, bam, in your face, here I am, come and get me kind of thing. And I mean, it's hard to master that kind of a promo where you can get up there like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, Tim Harrison is quite the RPer. He's also quite the history. He's another multi-talented, multi-time winner of quite a few belts in this company. But for no other reason, that's not why we want a guy like this back. We would want a guy like this back because he's a guy that is UWL. Even if he's been gone for a couple of years, the man is still UWL, and that's what matters, and that is what makes it that much better, is the fact that, let's face it, how many people can take a couple years break from a Fed and then think, man, I really want to come back? And on top of that, how many Feds are still around to have that happen?
Yeah.
He is a UWL original. He's one of the homegrown talents, and he's a guy that, like Robert Daniels, is also just that one championship away from getting that Grand Slam. Can he do it before Robert?
Said the dirty word.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing about the Grand Slam. It's not real. It's nothing important. I mean, it's just something really that Angie's the one who keeps talking about it. I mean, time I beat Frankie, I'm going to be the first, and it doesn't really matter after that.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I mean, it kind of is a career achievement. I mean, it shows that you've done everything that there is that you could do in that company. I mean, that to me is an achievement in and of itself.
Yeah, but when it becomes the point of obsession, then, that's the only thing that you're there for, then it's a dirty word.
And Jay, I agree with that. But to an extent, you and I have talked about this a great deal, and I agree. I think that the whole strive towards becoming the first Grand Slam champion, I think it's a load of crap. But at the same time, I think that one of the things that is cool about it is the fact that the Fed has been around as long as it has been, and it hasn't happened. And that to me is a very interesting thing. So while I agree that the striving for it and the obsession with it is bad, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to want to become the first.
I agree with that. I agree that it's a great accomplishment, and it's all that. But when it becomes an obsession and that's the only reason you're around, then it's a problem. When you're wanting to step into a situation where you don't belong.
It's a thin line, that's right. For sure.
Sure. I mean, if the only reason that you're in a Fed is to say that you've put your name on each title once, that's a problem. But a smart or crafty writer can actually write that to where it's a character thing. The character itself is focused on, for whatever reason, has that need to prove himself or herself as that person that can go down in history like that. And it doesn't have to be that the writer, the handler, has an obsession with it, just that it's a great story arc.
And we mentioned Andrew's name. He's not the only one, to my knowledge, that's been obsessed with it, where it became a problem.
Troy Vincent.
There's been quite a few, you know.
Looking at you, Dangles. Looking at you.
Hey, I just want the world title. It just means I'm the Grand Slam, whatever you want to look at. I just want the world title.
It just also happens to be the only one you haven't won.
Right.
Well, if we want to start throwing names out to make people jealous, Caleb Hart's 2-way now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, guess who else is 2-way, though?
Well, if that's the way we're going to be about it, then put Justin Brooks against Caleb Hart. Damn it. I got a grand slam to win, bitches.
And actually, Trent is only 1 away.
No, I'm 2-way.
Yeah. He's 2-away.
He's 2-way.
Oh, that's right. He didn't win the TV title. He went right to the Heritage.
So how about this? How about I purposely let Rob beat me so we can shut up about it, or like I was telling Kayla, maybe Joe and I will take the tag titles and Autumn will get the TV title and she'll just lay down for me in more ways than one.
I can't believe you did that.
Oh Lord.
Nah, I'm just saying. And I'm on the can.
I told Caleb this. That if it became such an obsession for people, I would unify the 3 titles together and then bring in new secondary titles to quit that foolishness.
And you guys wouldn't have to worry about that one.
Yeah, it was a silly notion brought up by one person, and then it got took way out of hand by somebody else. And to be honest with you, it takes away from the collective, the community as a whole. When there's one guy who's just like, well, I just want to say I held them all. I'm like, that does nothing. It's like, that does something for you. Congratulations as a character and a handler. Yeah. But I'm like, on the whole, it does nothing. It doesn't accomplish anything. It's just whoopity-doo. Right. It's like useless stats in baseball. You know, it's like in the month of April, he batted 7.5. It's like, who gives a shit?
Mm-hmm. And like, how many people actually know who's away from what? Like everybody on the roster, you know, that have had a title. Who actually? It's the people that want the Grand Slam, if you will.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I didn't realize that topic was actually as out of hand as apparently as I'm learning that it is now. I mean, as far as I understood, it was like Andrew wants to win the last belt that he hasn't won. Rob wants to win the last one. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I didn't realize that it was a big thing like that.
Well,
sometimes I wish I had your mindset.
You didn't do anything wrong. It's something that I haven't been publicizing and telling because it's trying to die it down.
To me, it's like this. If I was not in the world title picture and all I needed was the heritage or the television, I wouldn't be trying, you know what I mean, to get that just to be the Grand Slam.
Right.
These are things I've done, and I can't help what I've done. It's just this is something that might happen should I win the world title. You know what I mean? Like, I want to win the world title.
Absolutely.
I see.
Well, and I'll put this into some of a perspective here for you. To go along with that, Jay actually just made the point earlier that I've won 2 of the 4 available titles. You know what I realized at the same time is that, and you made, and Jay made a good point, even though his call just dropped, is that we talked about this before in the whole idea of the TV title being for the new people. If you haven't won the TV title by now and you're in UWL and say you've been here for a couple months, you probably never will. Because, let's face it, you're beyond it. And there's no shame in that. There's no anything about, oh, well, I didn't have the TV title. Yeah, but you know what? A title is simply, it's character motivation. It is not an indicator of whether or not you're the best talent in this Fed.
I feel like I kind of got pushed above that TV title with my match this week, but that's cool. I mean, because like I alluded to it in, I think, my second promo with Valor at Grand Voyage, that how Alan, career speaking, has held like 4 different world titles over the years. And it's like, why do I care about trying to get a 5th world title? I'm here to tell stories. I'm here to make an impact. I'm here because I want to be here. If I win one, sweet, awesome. I can finally prove to myself that, hey, I can hang in the UWL circle and I can win a singles title on my own merit. And that's what I want to prove to myself.
And I think that's a good goal. I think that's absolutely a good goal. It's not necessarily about winning the title so much as saying that you are doing something with this character.
Yes.
And I think with that, more often than not, people get a couple losses in and they immediately drop their character.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Caleb.
Yes, sir.
You want to update on the ROH show?
I do, actually, yeah.
The Steen-Elgin match was said to be terrific, as the Tommaso Ciampa Adam Cole.
Which is funny, because 2 of those 4 people can't work at all. But continue.
The Forever Hooligans successfully defended the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Titles. Adam Page defeated Artie Evans.
Okay.
Roderick Strong defeated Ricky Marvin. B.J. Whitmer made an announcement he is hanging up from in-ring competition. And he thanked publicly they allowed him to say Gabe's name on an RH show live. So, but he made one last plea request of Nigel to give Jimmy Jacobs his job back.
Wow.
Sweet.
That's huge. That's some of the best storyline development I've seen from ROH in years.
The CNC Wrestling Factory and Adrenaline Rush defeated Red Dragon, Matt Tavern, and Mike Bennett.
Okay.
And the Outlaw Inc. came out and cleared the ring, and Kingston grabbed the mic. They talked about the world title tournament and said that the new champ, along with Red Dragon, are on notice. And the world title final is in progress.
Okay. So, Cole versus Elgin.
Yeah, as we predicted 2 months ago.
Yeah, as I think everyone predicted 2 months ago.
Adam Cole beat Tommaso Ciampa after he locked him in a figure 4, and with his free leg, repeatedly kicked him in the face until he was unconscious.
Oh, that's why Adam Cole is awesome. Note to self, I want that spot. Oh, that's some good stuff. I said it before. That's some of the best storyline development from ROH that we've seen in years. Because that's one area, we talked about this earlier, that's just one area where they've always kind of lacked. Ever since Punk left, it just hasn't been the same. But anyways, well, that being said, I feel like that's a good spot to kind of end our official recording time here. And say good night to to our podcast, and if we want to just hang out, we can do that. We did that last time. Any other thoughts you guys want to get out there before we go into the editing mode on this one?
We are officially on the road to the 8th year anniversary.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Where's that being held this year?
In Knoxville, as always.
Okay.
I see.
I've only been here for 6 months, man. So this is you gotta fill me in on this.
You're the great researcher. I figured you already knew this.
Dude, I could not even tell you what city we were in last week.
New York.
We were in New York City.
Oh, there you go. See? I don't pay attention to where the shows are. Just pay attention to how awesome they are.
You should have known, though, because you made reference to New York City in your promo last week.
I did. Here's the problem, though. Do you think I ever remember what I write?
I remember what I write.
I don't. You kidding me? Every time I go back and read my RPs, it's as if somebody else wrote them. I'm sitting there going, wow, this is awesome. Who did that? I'm half kidding.
I've got a big-ass folder sitting there on my desktop that I just titled, well, not on my desktop, it's in another folder, It's just titled eFed folder. And I go through there, and oh my god, there is so many old promos from UWL, from UWL's Mid-Atlantic branch, the Pro Wrestling Fire, places like the GWF, the ECF. I don't have my XWO shit. I got stuff from my own AWF, and it's just like, this folder has just grown over 6 years worth of stuff.
You know what? I'm sorry, I just want to say, I have the same thing.
It's fun to go back and read some of the early stuff that we did, and then compare that to the stuff we write now. And you read the first stuff, you're like, wow, how did this become this? Shit, I can't hardly recognize a lot of my shit. Or I recognize stuff that's like, wow, this is bad.
Fair enough. I hear that.
You got to start somewhere.
You do.
There you go. All right. Well, gentlemen, it's been a wonderful show this evening. So, on behalf of the UWL, thank you guys for listening, and tune in next week when we talk about whatever it is that we talk about. Otherwise, we're going to go into our own version of overtime here. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you all later. Take it easy.